3, go. Holy cow. Crawford, your turn.
Make me work, make me sweat inside, make me feel like I'm alive. Take this hurt, lady, throw it in my face. Don't let these bones slow you down. 'Cause I'm coming on strong. Grass should have looked greener. I need a true believer in the sky.
Hey guys, Justin Briscoe here with Briscoe Homes. We are here at the barn again. I've told you guys we office out of here quite a bit when we're not throwing events and different things, but today we are going over the cabin that was built here on the 17 acres. This cabin was built a little over 3 years ago, or at least when we started it, it was a little over 3 years ago, probably pushing close to 4 years now. So originally was built as our weekend cabin, and we have since turned it into an Airbnb close to 2 years ago, I think, at this point in time. We still stay out here as much as we can. We don't get to stay on the weekends as much because it's always booked, but we try to come out here during the week. As we speak here in January 2021, we actually have a tenant that's gonna be in there for 2 months, so we won't be able to use it for a little while, but we still have the barn here, and we've got our tiny home and different things. So we, like I said, try to spend as much time as we can out here. I am going to be going over all the photos of the construction of this cabin that were done, I guess, pushing almost 4 years ago from when we started, from the foundation to completion. Again, I didn't have a video camera at the time. I thought YouTube would have been a cool thing to do, just didn't have the capabilities of doing it. And so I documented the whole process by taking a lot of pictures. I always take a lot of pictures of all our projects just to kind of show a before and after and in the middle. So that's what we're gonna be going over today. If you guys are enjoying these videos, if you've not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share the video. And if you got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment down below. So here we go, let's get started. Boom! Okay, so this is Bad Brad on his Kubota tractor. We put out some gravel for the base. You can see him here getting it all spread out. You can see my old Chevy. This is when the place was completely grown up. When we first got this property, it was a complete jungle, and we've actually done a lot of work to the property to clear it up, and you'll see in these photos just the trees that are disappearing and the underbrush. And yeah, we did clear out a lot of stuff, but we also kept a lot of our pretty trees that are still on the property. But you'll see as we go through these videos, it progresses. And so here's the foundation, all built, all level. We are 20 foot wide by 32 foot long. So it's a 640 square foot structure. There's another picture of the foundation. There's a shot looking at our pretty oak tree that's still there. There's some views overlooking Oklahoma. The framing going up, that's the first wall. They started on a Saturday. They actually threw up the walls pretty quick. That's 3 walls up. The back wall is 16 foot tall. The front wall is 12 foot tall. Now they're starting to build some interior walls. So here's a shot from the inside, looking out what some of our future windows and doors are gonna be. There's our first I-joist going up. We got all 4 walls up. That little wall they're standing on is actually the top of our loft that you'll see here in a little bit. So there's the, again, first I-joist going up. There's the second one. I guess they put the 2 outside I-joists up to get it all squared up. We had our framers come in and do all this. Once they got all the sticks up, and got the plywood and the wrap on, my guys and myself took over. So there's all the I-joists up for the roof. There's the framers. They got some deck boards on, some of the sheeting, putting in the first window. There's a shot of the window from the inside, and I think that was the end of that day with the decking and getting that first window. I was pretty adamant of them getting that first window in because I wanted to see what it looked like. And just so you guys know, we did build this house based off pretty much what was in my head. I had some drawings put down on some graph paper, and I mean, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, it's a rectangle box, and there's a couple of interior walls, so there's not just a ton of things to go off of on drawings. But I was on site with the framers, and this is kind of what I had in my head and had designed and had put down on graph paper. And so I always tell people, like, I really enjoy this process, and it's cool to have this ideal in your head for, I mean, this idea was in my head for probably 6 months to a year, and we got to the point to where once construction started, I mean, it went quick. Like you get the foundation up, framing goes very, very quick. So it was neat to see this become reality and to see what the idea that was in my head for all this time actually become reality and see what it looks like. So it was the end of the day, and I really wanted them to get that first window up just so I could kind of see what it was going to look like. That's actually our kitchen looking out, but we'll keep going here. So there's most of the sheeting, the OSB, half-inch OSB going up. I put up some 2x12s on the outside for the trim on the I-joists. There's the trim going up on the backside. We used some 2x12s, and I think we put a 1x4 on top of that. There's some of the windows and the French door looking out the back to the north, overlooking Oklahoma. There's that big oak tree you can see back there we had trimmed up previously. So all the sheeting's on. We got the guys putting on the house wrap. This is still the framers kind of before we jump in. That's my front door. That's a mahogany door, solid front door that we picked up from a guy who had a downtown building, downtown Denison. So there's a look from the outside with all the windows. The front door, I think we were still waiting on our French doors that we'd ordered from the lumber yard. There's Ashley checking out the place. So here we are, still waiting on the French doors, looks like. Started putting up the decking. Me and my guys did all the decking. I guess our metal came in, so we started throwing on the metal roof. I think we pretty much knocked that out in about a day. There we go. There's the French doors. Look like they finally came in, getting those installed. At this point in time, we were actually building a pond and clearing the land at the same time we were building this cabin. So this was our property. It was pretty messy. I mean, this property didn't have any structures on it. I guess it had always been like farmland. I think they ran horses, and it was real grown up. And so, okay, so here we are getting ready to do some siding. We're putting on a few of our little roof hangovers over the French doors because I really wanted to control any moisture or weather coming in. So we put these little hangovers on both sides. Plus, aesthetically, I mean, it added more detail to the cabin and just kind of went towards the final product that I was really trying to go for. There's Bad Brad on the ladder, getting that lean-to. There's Bad Brad again. There's the pond. You can see where the dozer had pushed up a lot of dirt on the dam. Again, pond was getting worked on as we were working on this house. So there's the lean. Okay, so here we are with the roof. We had some big 12x12 cedar beams we got a good deal on. We put those up to kind of support that part of the roof. I think that's almost like an 8-foot hangover on our porch. I guess we kind of call that like our front porch. That's our entrance when you walk up to the property. It's a real cool hangout area, but that's part of the design that I had in my head that was part of the roof line, but also doubled as the front porch too. You can see the deck was also coming along. This is our skirt. We did a 1x6 and 2x6, kind of a staggered look. That was all good lumber, had just been left out and had gotten mud on it. Later on, you'll see where we pressure wash and get it clean. There's the deck, I think pretty much done. You can see our pallet, there's our ladder, getting the skirt put around. There's more outside pictures, the deck. We're starting on the lean-to roof on the backside. We're getting some siding up. That's a completed look on the bottom part with our board and batten going all the way around. Those are some 4x8 sheets that we put up on the ceiling for the soffit. That right there is where our stone's gonna go. We had a fireplace on the inside, so to kind of break up just being solid siding, we had put up that, left that area, I guess no siding on, so we could put up concrete board, and you'll see in a little bit where we put up the stone. But here we are. I think we're working on the backside, getting some more of the soffit and getting some of the final trim work put up. There's a shot of where the backside of the fireplace is, where you see the stone here in a second. I think this is kind of some of the finished product of all the board and batten put on all the way around with the trim. This is kind of a cool story right here. This is our baby girl, Madeline. She, my wife Ashley, was pregnant with Madeline at the time, and we kind of had a goal to where we wanted to finish our cabin because we had anticipated having family in town during that time, and we wanted to have a place for family to stay while we were having Madeline. So there's a few pictures you'll see of our sweet little Madeline as we were constructing our cabin at the same time. There's our little foot. Okay, so there's our pond. You can see the dam. That was a big little rain that we had. It started filling it. There's the stone veneer that I was talking about earlier. That's where you can see we left the siding off on that part. We put up concrete board and then, of course, put that stone veneer. And you'll see on the back side of that, on the interior here in a little bit, where we put the fireplace kind of at a 45-degree angle, built a mantle, and just really created a really cool accent piece for the whole place on the outside and the inside. It broke up just having just solid painted siding everywhere, and kind of really made that corner stand out with that stone veneer. I was really happy with that part of the design. Built some little, I guess you call them secret spots. I don't know what you call them, but we thought ahead, and before we spray foamed and before we put the wood floor down, we framed it out and put sheeting underneath, so it would create a little box, so we'd have a little storage area. And that's with the plywood and the handle all shut, and that's what we put the wood floors over. This is in the bedroom. There's Bad Brad underneath the house, finishing up that last piece, getting it all secured. Okay, so here we are on the outside. The deck's all done. Looks like the skirt's all done. Starting to get our handrail up. We used some, I believe those were 8x8 pressure-treated pine, or the bigger pieces, and then the inside, those center pieces, those are 6x6. And then, of course, we just went on top with some 2x12s, and you'll kind of see the finish out design that we did. All that wood on the outside, that's shiplap that I had moved to the inside, and we had anticipated using for different projects, but it kind of got in the way, and so we moved it outside so we could work on the inside. And I think I ended up just selling that shiplap because we had so much of it, and I just couldn't use it, and I was tired of moving it around everywhere. I believe that actually came out of one of our downtown buildings that we owned on the 400 block here in Denison. Quite a few years ago, we'd taken out some shiplap to use for projects, but that's really cool. Old material. I mean, that material is probably over 100 years old. But continuing to work on the handrail, again, it's a 2x12 on top. We put a 2x6 underneath there, you'll see in a second. Here's some shots of the interior. Looks like our electrician had started with our can lights. He's starting to run some wiring for all our switches. You can see those J boxes for all our electric. So here's a shot on the outside, working on the handrails. Now you can see where we put in these metal pipes. That's actually just electric conduit. Came in 10-foot sticks, and we cut them, I think each one of those spaces just a little shy of 5 foot. So we were pretty much cutting those electric conduit in half, and then we were using a plumbing flange that I think if you get like an 1.25 inch electric conduit, I think it slides right into an 1.5 inch pipe flange. And so that's what we had done, and just screwed those in. Created a real cool look. I was really happy with that and excited with how that turned out, and kept it real open so you could still take advantage. You can see the view, the pond down below. It really allowed for the view to still be there and not block any of that. So here we are. There's our kitchen. Yeah, so you can see where all the cabinets are done. Got the butcher block. So yeah, here's the kitchen. Got the butcher block down. There's another shot. I think that's most of the butcher block down in that picture. Here's our aerobic system going in. That's the tank. They took a big old hole, put that sucker in. There's our sink going in, made a cut on the butcher block. That's our sink looking out the front. Where you're looking at the front there, that's actually a big pecan tree that you saw. That's where our barn now sits as you look out the kitchen window there in the cabin. Here's a picture of the sink getting installed. There's our copper sink and our faucet that we installed in the bathroom. That copper sink was really, really cool. We were happy with that. So there's a kitchen. Looks like we may have put a little stain on the countertop. We got the faucet setting in place. Here we are painting the cabinets. We went with the two-tone look. These are some colors that my wife, Ashley, picked out. She does a really good job with picking out all our colors. She had picked out this stain. As you can see, it's a really cool contrast with the walls and the ceiling. So I was really happy with how this whole place turned out. Even on the exterior, she had picked that blue and had picked the stain and had designed all that part of the color scheme. And as you can tell, the whole place turned out really, really cool from that perspective. So I'm really proud of her with the color she chose and how good of a job she did on that. I believe our electrician had got the fan installed. This is when we had ran our electric to the house. You saw the lights, the can lights on earlier in that picture. Here's some of our exterior fans, which unfortunately actually didn't make it that long. They were exterior fans, but setting up on this hill, we just get so much wind, and within the first 6 months, these things were just getting banged up and had broken blades, and we ended up replacing them with a much more heavy dutier fan. But yeah, those looked cool, just didn't last that long. This is our mahogany door I was talking about earlier. There's a gentleman who owned a downtown building here in Denison, and I'd heard that he was selling this door, and at the time, I think I picked that door up for like $100. Of course, it was just a slab. We had to send it to our local lumber yard, Main Street Lumber, and they got it all framed out for us, but just a really cool door. Here's a cool shot of the exterior. I think this was the day that a lot of our landscaping had arrived. This was just everything kind of set in place before we buried it. This is the layout. We had one of our friends, Anna, help us with picking out all this stuff and designing it and placing it in all the right places for us. Here's another shot of the landscaping. This is us, I guess, starting to dig some holes and get these things installed. That's a really cool crepe myrtle that we put there. Here's our wood floors. You can tell where they were had been installed. We actually dropped a bucket of stain, and that's where we had cleaned it up. But I took that picture to kind of show as an example of what the stain was going to look like pre-sealed. So what was an accident ended up giving us a cool shot of what the final product was going to kind of look like. Here we are on the interior. We're getting ready to stain the floors. Of course, we rented a sander, got all the floors sanded, nice and smooth. There's some more shots of us getting the floors all sanded. Here are some shots of up top. I think we'd had those cabinets installed already, but it looks like they added the trim, and so that was kind of just showing off the final product of what the cabinets look like upstairs in the loft area. You see the mini split there on the top left corner. We went with a Samsung mini split. I think it's a 2-ton. Ended up being like a 27 SEER. I mean, it's just a really, really cool unit. Heats and cools the whole place for us. Here's some shots of the kitchen. It's a little messy, but I think we messed up on the cabinets with as far as the height goes for this apron style sink, so they had to take out that bracing and redo it. So here's a shot of them redoing that, and hopefully, I think they were getting our doors ready to put in. There's some more shots of the floor all sanded. Here's some shots of the outside, things we're working on. There's a picture of all the landscaping with the pond in the background. A lot of these rocks were sitting over here on the side. It's just, again, rocks that we found all over the property, and what do you do with them? And we just kind of stockpile them over there until we find a cool project that we'll use those for. But it kind of added to the landscaping and the hardscape, so set them there for the time being. Here's Bad Brad starting to stain the floors. There's a shot of, I guess, back behind him showing you how clean they were and ready for stain. This is us getting really close to getting this whole place done. I think I took this picture to send to the cabinet guy because you can tell where they added those pieces of trim on the side but didn't put one underneath on that gap. So just a little boo-boo, letting them know what we need to fix there. So here we are. I mean, we started this staining. I mean, it was pretty late at night as it was. I mean, it's probably 7 or 8, and I don't think we left that night till probably 12 or 1, just because we got the whole place all stained. We had the mini split run and make sure it was nice and conditioned in there so it'd dry well. Looks like our appliances showed up. We got the fridge in place. We had a small kitchen we were working with. We tried to keep everything as full size as we could, but we went with a 30-inch fridge, and you can see that stove there. I think we went with like a 24-inch stove instead of a standard 30-inch, just because if we went with the 30-inch, it was going to kind of hang over into the window area. We wanted to keep the window area completely open for the sink and just kind of center all that. So we decided to go with the 24-inch stove and kind of did the same thing over there to the right of the fridge. You can see that opening. That's an 18-inch dishwasher instead of your standard 24-inch. Again, we just kind of ran out of room with the space we were working with. So those are a few changes that we made to the appliances to make sure everything fit well. So here we are outside, got the steps put in. It looks like we put the rails in and we backfilled that with the DG to get it all filled in, and then of course we've got the rock on top. So it's kind of a final product other than the 6x6s getting stained. Here's a little fire pit that we installed into the hillside. It's a really cool fire pit. It's really big. It'll eat some wood, but man, we use that thing all the time when we're out here. Here's a shot of the fire pit with the pond back behind it, just kind of overlooking our view. There's a really cool shot of the exterior of the cabin. This was really, really close to being done. I guess we were completely done on the exterior as far as all the painting, the staining, the landscaping, getting all the sod planted. It looks like maybe we still need to have stained the steps in this picture, but really cool. What's really cool with this land, you can see there to the bottom right, that's actually bedrock right there, and that's just a solid piece of bedrock. It goes back into the hillside, and we really fought with that trenching out for our electric. We had to go through that, and it was just a mess. But I know you guys have seen our party barn in other videos we've done. Our party barn is actually right behind this, back to the right of this bedrock, and it's about 6-7 foot higher as far as elevation. And we drilled piers when we built that barn, and the cool thing is that every single one of those piers was hitting this bedrock. So my whole barn is just sitting on solid bedrock, which makes me very happy. Shouldn't have any movement or any settling. Very strong structure. Here's a shot to the right of the house with the water tank. There's another picture of our staircase. You can see all the rocks filled in. Again, this is before we had stained those 6x6s. Here's a picture kind of showcasing our water tank and our landscaping, and it's a cool shot showing our big oak tree that we just love this tree. It's really neat because it's grown since then, and it's got limbs that almost hang over right onto the deck, and it almost feels like you're in a tree house. But here's a shot of the pond all full. This is kind of a cool project. This is on the exterior where the deck's at. I cut a hole in between my floor joists, and we actually use that to store small pieces of wood that we use to start our fireplace. Keeps it nice and dry and keeps it out of the way. So just a cool little trapdoor. Again, wasted space with that crawl space being so deep, and so we were able to utilize it by building that. Here's the fireplace. We hired a company to install this fireplace because there's a lot of specs and details that these things need to be installed correctly due to liability and insurance purposes. So I wanted to hire a company to do this for us, but they allowed for us to do the framing, and you can tell where we need to do the metal studs, I guess, to where it was close to the fireplace, and then we were able to do wood studs on the rest of it. But here's our mantle that we built. Really cool. It's kind of a trap door. You open that face, and it's a little cavity in there to where you can store a lot of stuff, and you can tell where I had put in my TV mount, because that's a 2x12 with the mount installed to it, because we're actually putting up stone veneer over all that. So I wanted to get that in place before the stone veneer went in. There's another shot where you can see the face of that mantle opening. So right now we have like DVDs stored in there, like we have maybe like an internet router, got an outlet in there, and different things like remotes and stuff to kind of keep it hidden and out of the way. There's a really cool shot. I love this picture. It shows the fireplace, got a cool fire going, got all the stone up, the mantle's in place, got the TV installed. Just a really cool picture. I was very happy with the final product and on how that turned out. Here's a cool shot of the fireplace. I think this is one of the times we were staying here, and we got a cool fire going, just showing y'all what it looks like with it all running. And there's Ashley sitting out on the deck with Remy. We've got the old Chevy in the background there. You can see that old barn. That barn's actually has come down since that time. And where the white Chevy is sitting there, that's where our party barn is actually at now. Okay guys, so if y'all made it this far throughout the video, that means you enjoyed it, I would imagine. And if you enjoyed it, I would like for you to hit that like button. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. And also, share this video. We're starting to grow with our subscribers, guys. We're getting excited, but we really need to grow some more so we can get monetized and we can keep pushing out this video. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with all your friends and family. And you guys let us know what you want to see next. Leave us some comments down below. And until next time, peace!